So we are looking at topic number 16, which is called foreign companies. Foreign companies. That is the topic of the day. Foreign companies. And in this one, we begin with introduction. We begin with introduction. Introduction, and we write that a foreign company is a company registered outside Kenya. Is a company registered outside Kenya, wishing to do business in Kenya. Wishing to do business in Kenya. First of all, the foreign company must apply for registration. Must apply for registration in Kenya. First of all, the registration will enable the company. The registration will enable the company to carry on business in Kenya. Carry on business in Kenya. Which will include offering debentures, which will include offering debentures and being a guarantor, for debentures offered in Kenya. For debentures offered in Kenya. First of all, the foreign company must have a local representative. Foreign company must have a local representative whose responsibilities include semicolon, and point number 1, to keep the registered office open. To keep the registered office open from 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. during working days. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. during working days. Number 2, to remain available at the time. Number 2 is to remain available at the time when the office is open. Remain available at the time when the office is open. Number 3, to submit changes to the registrar. To submit changes to the registrar on change of address. On change of address. On change of address. Number 4, to maintain proper books of accounts. To maintain proper books of accounts and other records. at the registered office. At the registered office. And number 5 is to ensure compliance with the Companies Act. Ensure compliance with the Companies Act. So that is what we are calling a foreign company. And we are saying a foreign company is a company that is not registered in Kenya. It is registered outside of Kenya, but the company is willing to do business in Kenya. So if this company is willing to do business in Kenya, then the rules of Kenya require that it be registered here in Kenya. It should apply for registration so that they can do business. And not only be doing business, they can be in a position to raise capital, as in they can be able to offer debentures, to issue debentures. They can also be able to guarantee debentures. But it's also required that this foreign company should have a local representative here in Kenya. And this local representative in Kenya has some responsibilities. One of them is to ensure that he keeps the office open every working day. That usually is from Monday to Friday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And when the office is open, the fellow should be available in the office. Or if he's not available for whatever reasons, there should be a person who is responsible, a person who can be able to handle most of the office issues. He's also responsible to ensure that in case there are any changes of the details that are registered, those changes should be notified to the registrar. He should ensure that the company is in full compliance with the Kenyan Companies Act. Although this Companies Act is very, very universal, especially in the Commonwealth countries, but nonetheless, there are a few things that belong to Kenya, that are unique to Kenya. And then he should ensure that there are proper books of accounts that have been kept. Not only books of accounts, but you remember when we started registering the office, we said there are, I think, around 10 documents that should be kept there. So those documents should be maintained by this local representative. Okay, let's look at process of registering a foreign company. Process of registering a foreign company. Number 1, lodge the application. Lodge the application with the registrar. Lodge the application with the registrar. Full stop, but still on the same point, we write that the application should be accompanied by the following documents, or by the following. The application should be accompanied by the following. Should be accompanied by the following. Semicolon, Roman 1. A certified copy of a current. A certified copy of a current certificate of incorporation. Current certificate of incorporation. Or a document of similar effect. Or a document of similar effect. Number 2, Roman 2, that. A certified copy of its constitution. A certified copy of its constitution. Roman 3, a list of directors. A list of directors and shareholders A list of directors and shareholders and their details. And their details. Number 4, a list of directors who reside in Kenya. A list of directors who reside in Kenya and their powers. A list of directors who reside in Kenya and their powers. Number 5 is registrable existing charges. Registrable existing charges on properties. Registrable existing charges on properties. Number 6 is the notice of address of the principal office. Notice of address of the principal office. And number 7 is the required fee. The required fee. So basically, that is the first thing. You make an application with the registrar. And when you are making that registration form, or you are lodging that registration form, it should be accompanied by those 7 items. 1, you must give us a certified copy of your current certificate of incorporation from your mother country, or if you don't have that certificate of incorporation, a similar document, a document of similar effect. It's like here in Kenya, most of the places where they ask you for the national ID, they will also say stroke passport. So if you have a passport, it is of the similar effect as national ID. So the same applies here. Then you should give us your copy of constitution. You should tell us who are your directors, who are the shareholders, what are their details. And then you should also give a separate list of the directors who reside in Kenya. And we also need to know what are the powers that they command. The other thing is if you have some charges, remember we discussed about the fixed charges, the floating charges. And we said that there are some charges that are registrable or must be registered. So you should give us the list of those charges that are registrable. You should notify us where your principal office is, and then you should make the required money. So that was point number 1 of lodging. Let's do number 2. Point number 2. Right. Upon registering the company, the registrar shall issue a unique identification number. A unique identification number and a certificate of compliance. First of all. So you should notice there that in registering a Kenyan company, we are given what we call the certificate of incorporation. But now here, because the company is already incorporated, we are being given the certificate of incorporation. Sorry, the certificate of compliance. The certificate of compliance. On the same point, you write that this certificate states the following. This certificate states the following. Roman 1. States the following. Number 1, name of the company. Name of the company. Roman 2. Unique identification number. Unique identification number. Roman 3. Date of registration as a foreign company. Date of registration as a foreign company. Roman 4, date of incorporation. Date of incorporation in the country of origin. In the country of origin. Number 5, such other prescribed particulars. Such other prescribed particulars. And the last one is signature and official seal. Signature and official seal of the registrar. Signature and official seal of the registrar. So I think those are very clear. Let's go to point number 3. The name of the company can be, the name of the company can be, semicolon, Roman 1. Roman 1. The name of the company in the country of incorporation. Roman 2, an alternative name. An alternative name. Roman 3, be changed but include reference. Be changed but include reference to the previous name. Be changed but include reference to the previous name. So we are saying when we talk about the foreign company, in regard to the name, you can use the name as it appears in the motherland. Or you can come here in Kenya and use a different name. And even when you are here in Kenya, it is possible you change the name. But when you change, there should be a reference to the previous name. Look at this question of May 2017, question 5B. May 2017, question 5B, Roman 1. May 2017, question 5B, Roman 1. Inasema?
Identify 4 documents required for a company, the application for registration.
Okay, 4 documents that are required to accompany the application. We have given 7 or 6 actually. There is a certified copy of the current certificate of incorporation. There is the copy of constitution, list of the directors and shareholders, list of directors who reside in Kenya, the registrable existing charges, and a notice of address of the principal office, because the required fee is not a document. Okay, let's now look at power to hold land. Power to hold land. Power to hold land. And we write that upon registration, the foreign company shall have the same power to hold land in Kenya. The same power to hold land in Kenya as if it were a company. as if it were a company registered at the Companies Act in Kenya. Registered at the Companies Act in Kenya. First, the foreign company is allowed to create charge. The foreign company is allowed to create charge on its assets. Create charge on its assets as if it was a local company. As if it was a local company. Yeah, so that is very, very direct. Look at November 2020, question 4B. November 2020, question 4B. So, November 2020, question 4B.
XYM Limited is a company registered in South Africa. The company intends to register a branch in your country as a foreign company. With reference to the above statements, summarize the procedure for registration of companies. Number 2, explain the manner in which a foreign company is on land in your country.
Thank you. So for the registration process, we have said you have to lodge the application. Then from there, you'll be given what? A unique number and a certificate of compliance. And then you can use the name that is in South Africa, or you can use a different name, or you can even change. That is the process of registration. And then the manner in which they can own RAD is that they can own RAD just like any other company that is registered in Kenya. And they are also allowed to put charges, the fixed charges, the floating charges on their properties, just like they were, just like if they were a local company. Okay, let's proceed and look at accounts of foreign companies. Accounts of foreign companies. Accounts of foreign companies. And we write that a registered foreign company, a registered foreign company shall at least once in every calendar year, and at intervals of not more than 15 months, lodge a copy of its financial statement. Lodge a copy of its financial statement wrote a copy of its financial statement made up to the end of its last financial year. In such form and containing such particulars and copies of such documents as the company is required by the law. For the time being applicable. To that company. In its place of origin. First of all, the statement should be accompanied by a written statutory declaration. Verifying that the copies have been submitted as required. First of all, other point is, if the company is not by law, in the country of origin, it's not by law, in the country of origin, required to prepare financial statements. It will be required to comply with the Companies Act in Kenya. What that means is this. Our requirements here may not be the requirements in the country of origin. Like if this company is registered in US or in Uganda or whatever, the requirements there may not be our requirements. So what this foreign company will be required to do is to give us the copies as they are required in their mother country. That means we do not want to give them double work to prepare accounts in our own format and prepare accounts in their own format. We just want it in their own format. Whatever is required there, they submit to us. And then they also make a declaration that what we have submitted to you is what we are required in our home to declare. Then later on, the registrar can follow up with the rules of that in the country and check whether they are compliant. But if for whatever reasons where they come from, they are not required to do financial statements, then we will require them to do financial statements as per our own rules. Yeah. All right. The next thing is surveys of process and notices of foreign service of process notices of foreign companies. Foreign companies. Foreign companies. Foreign companies. And write that any process or notice is sufficiently served. Any process or notice is sufficiently served if addressed to any person. If addressed to any person whose name has been delivered. His name has been delivered or sent by registered posts. Or sent by registered post to the address provided. To the address provided. So that means when the company is serving notices, they will say that we have fully served, as long as we have physically delivered or we have posted. And you remember when we talked about the notices, we say that the company shall post to the notice, to the address, not unless they have reasons to believe that those documents will not be delivered. Another point is within 28 days, the company shall notify the registrar. The company shall notify the registrar of close of a place of business. Of close of a place of business. Close of the place of business. So within 28 days, you should notify the registrar. So stop. The business will be closed. The business will be closed if it has not been operational. If it has not been operational, if it has not been operational for a continuous period, exceeding 6 months. For a continuous period exceeding 6 months. Okay, so I think that is also straightforward. Another point is that the company shall display its name. The company shall display its name at office and places of business. Shall display its name at office and places of business. Full stop. Another point is that the company should lodge with the registrar. The company should lodge with the registrar any change relating to the constitution, any change relating to the constitution, directors and business in Kenya. Relating to constitution, directors and business in Kenya. First of all, another point is, if the company has ceased business in Kenya, if the company has ceased or stopped business in Kenya, I'd notified the registrar. The registrar shall strike off. The registrar shall strike off its name from the register. The registrar shall strike off its name from the register. Yeah, so I think that is also very clear. Another point is that the company shall, when required, provide the registrar with such returns. Relating to any changes in the following. One, the constitution. Number two, any document submitted for registration. Three, directors. Number four, powers of Kenyan directors. Number five, local representatives. Number six, address of the place of business. And the last one is secretaries. So what we have listed down under that subtopic are the various issues that the company is required to communicate, to serve notices. And I think they are very, very clear. Look at December 2022, question 6D. December 2022, question 6D.
They like 5 types of returns that must be delivered to the export company, the foreign company.
Yeah, the returns that should be delivered. So we have given 7 changes in the constitution, changes in any document that was submitted during registration, changes in the list of directors, changes in the powers of Kenyan directors, changes in the local representatives, changes in the address of the business, and changes in the secretaries. Good. December 2021, question 5A. December 2021, question 5A.
With reference to registered foreign companies in your country, and one, explain the obligations of a foreign company. And two, describe the liability of a local representative. Three, identify 4 changes in information or documentation that a foreign company must notify the registrar within a period of 1 month time of their occurrence.
Okay, we start with Roman 3. The issue that they must notify the registrar, there are those 7 that you have said there. Actually, even including the stoppage of business that we had mentioned earlier on, because we said within 28 days, you should notify the registrar that you have closed the business. So it's like we have 8 items: the close of business, secretaries, address, local representative, powers of the Kenyan companies, Kenyan directors, the list of the directors, any documents submitted for registration, and the constitution. Then for the obligations or the powers of a local representative, we had said earlier on, they should ensure that the office is what? Is open. They should be available in the office. They should submit any changes to the registrar of the companies, and they should maintain proper books of accounts, and they should ensure there is what? Compliance. When we talk about the obligation, we are talking of what they are supposed to submit. One, we have, or actually, when you talk of obligations, you can say they are supposed to be registered to ensure that there is what? Registration. Number 2, they should submit the books of what? Of accounts. And number 3, they should file the returns in case there are changes. So those are the 3 main issues. They must ensure they are registered. They should keep on giving us the returns, and they should ensure that in case they close the business, they let us know. Okay, now a small assignment that I want to give you. Assignment is list 9 offenses that can be committed by a foreign company. 9 offenses that can be committed by a foreign company. Good, so you can research on that. Now that brings us to the end of our today's lesson and to the end of our syllabus.
Rudy, are you marrying? I didn't get it right.
Yeah. Patrick, you have talked. I have not heard what you have said. Patrick?
I've not got, yeah, I'm saying, I've not got right the what you have said, the assignment you have given.
The assignment says, list
Yes.
9 offenses. List 9 offenses that can be committed by a foreign company. 9 offenses that can be committed by a foreign company. Have you gotten it now?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I was saying we have come to the end of today's lesson and to the end of our syllabus. I'm thinking that we take a small break of 2 lessons, which now you should use to ensure that you do all the assignments that I've given. Then we meet from the week of 2nd of April to do our revision. So that is fine. Yeah, we shall have 3 weeks of revision. So make sure you use the whole of next week to go through your notes from the start to the end, so that as we revise, you will not be so much lost. I'll be revising from the paper of last sitting, the December 2022, going backwards up to where time will get us. Yeah, so that is how I'm going to do my drops. Githaiga, you want to speak? Or Patrick is speaking?
I wanted to ask, if someone has a question, he or she can ask during that revision time.
If a person has a question regarding?
The same, the topic. Maybe there was a question I found somewhere and I was unable to answer.
You are unable to answer?
Yeah.
Part of the assignments I've given?
No.
Yeah?
I just saw it in the past paper and I couldn't get in a way to answer it. So I said I wanted to ask if when we have those revision, I'm able to ask the same question.
Yeah, during revision, we can add all those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, during revision, we can deal with that.
Okay.
Thank you. So we call it a day at that point.